Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Görgött. Today we're making kind of a Görgött version of the Oklahoma onion burgers. I'll tell you about the differences. And obviously we're using burger buns. You probably saw that in the last episode if you watch frequently. But before we have a look at the ingredients, there's not many on the board today. Do me the favor, if you're not supporting the channel yet, please click the subscribe and check the bell icon so that you get notifications. But now let's have a look at the board. We have our meat for the burger. It's a ribeye steak. I'm gonna cut it by hand. I think that's nicer actually, but don't worry about it. You can buy your burgers as well. But we'll cut ours by hand. We have onion. We have a gherkin or a pickled cucumber. And here's the main difference. I'm not using American cheese because I don't really like it. To me, it's not cheese. But don't cancel me for saying that. I'm using English cheddar, which has a similar yellow color, but a lot more taste. And it melts quite nicely as well. Normally, I would probably use a Swiss cheese with a lot of taste. But for this purpose, let's stay at least in the color range and have a yellow cheese. So it's a British or English cheddar. We have salt and pepper, and we have our burger bun. If you didn't see last episode when we made burger buns, I'll put a link to it here and probably down in the description as well, so you can have a look at these. These are really the best buns. But first we have to do some prep. We have to cut the meat, we have to slice the onion and slice the pickled cucumber or the gherkin. So we'll start with that. So for the pickled cucumber, we'll just make some slices. Now you saw the meat, there was quite a lot of meat, right? So I'm just making one burger now, but I'll cut all of the meat and make other burgers for my family later on. We have our pickled stuff. And for our onion, we'll use our very sharp and very usable Japanese friend and just slice this down. Nice and thin slices. The beginning was actually a bit thick. We want them really thin like this. I don't know who changed the setting, probably the dishwasher. But that will work as well. But try to get for as thin as you can. And don't cut your fingers. I don't dare to go further than that because I'm sure my thumb will end up into it. And I usually calculate 1 onion per burger. So we have that. Now let's move on to the meat. Now this is quite a well-aged piece. I will cut off some of the browner spots. If your meat is not so aged, you will not have that issue. You see the kind of, there's a little bit of a grayish tint, so we'll just cut that away. I think that's about it. That will throw away. And now what I always like to do is just to get in with your fingers first of all and separate it. You can do this quite easily. Because this part here is not very nice. So you want to cut that out before you start kind of chopping up your burger meat. You see here, you have some as well. I'll change knives, because it's much easier to get underneath with this one. And just get rid of all of that. That doesn't go into the burger. This, on the other hand, is fat, and that we want in our burger. So keep that to one side. Fat is always good. You need that for the taste. It's a flavor enhancer. Sorry, wrong pile. So that one is ready to cut, and here we'll do a similar thing. We'll just go in, cut upwards. And you see there's no meat on this. We're just cutting away stuff that's a bit chewy. Nice fat part that we want to keep. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we can start, we'll throw this away because that's not needed. And now we can start cutting this up. I'll just show you a little bit how I do it. Just slice it relatively thin. And then go over those slices once more, the other way around. And get another bowl out so you can put this in a bowl afterwards. And this is enough for the first kind of cut, and then what we'll do, we'll go over the whole thing with a chopper afterwards. So get this done to your meat. If you have ready-made burgers, skip until the next part. You can see that down in the chapters. You don't have to look at this. So I'll see you in about probably 5 minutes. This is what you end up with. Now mix it through it well, and we'll make burgers around 100 grams. 125 is also good. But now I'll put this in the fridge for the family later. It's time to move over here and make the burgers. Now for a burger like this, it's important to have a thick spatula that's really strong so that you can really smash down on it. Now we're just heating up our pan. Our pan is nice and hot. Now we press down. Going out to the edges. That's a little bit difficult because I have the tripod just in front. Get our onions on here. Spread them out. And now a good dose of salt. As well as black pepper. I'm keeping this side free for the buns later. Now let's see if we can turn this one. And put some pressure on the onion side as well. Now don't forget, season this side too. Quite generously with the salt and pepper. And on goes our cheddar. And now we just cover this. And let the cheese melt from the steams of the onions. Now a real Oklahoma onion burger, you would steam the bun with it. But I actually prefer to have the bun a bit fried. That's why I'm not steaming it with the meat and the onion. They say you get a nice kind of oniony flavor to the bun that way, and that's probably true, but I still prefer to have a little bit of crispiness on the bun. Look at that, you can see the water that comes. Now we put our buns on. It won't take very long. Now, perfect. So we put our pickled cucumbers on there. Get the burger on top. Like so. And now all we need is ketchup in between. I know that's not classical, but I love a burger with ketchup. So let's get some ketchup and let's move over. Now, before we do the horrible deed of putting ketchup on this, if you stuck with me this far, there must have been something you enjoyed about this episode. So do me the huge favor and hit that thumbs up button below. It really helps to get my content out there via the strange YouTube algorithm. But now let's put ketchup on, let's put it together. Let's dig in. Now let's get our teeth into this one. Look, half caramelized, half kind of steamed. That's the beauty of the Oklahoma cheeseburger, the Oklahoma onion burger. You kind of get all the different version of fried onion in one. That is so tasty. I'm sorry, there's a bit of chewing involved, but I'll cut it. I don't know if you want me to chew so much. It's so juicy. And if you want to make this with American cheese, go ahead. I just think you're getting a little bit more flavor from using another type of cheese. And most of them melt just as well as American cheese. I can't stop. So that was the Görgött version of the Oklahoma onion burger with our homemade burger buns that are fantastic. I'll put the link down here. Go ahead, if you haven't done so yet. I know I'm not the first one to cook this, but I do it a little bit different and in my mind a little bit better. But try it out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. But that's it for this time. Oh, and if you're not doing so yet, click the subscribe button and check the bell icon. Take care. Bye-bye.